Yes, but I don't think that applies to us. I think it applies to the investigation. We're not, if it is part of the investigation, we won't allow it. But if it's some.
What it's like. Wow.
I never heard from Jason. I knew Mike was probably a no.
Which one had it?
Because he couldn't make the other meeting.
Yeah.
Jason was being held over on Tuesday, but then we canceled Tuesday, and then Mike had plans for this evening.
That's who had the plans.
But I thought Jason would be here tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know, that's why I put my
You know what?
name.
I told
I was
him.
on there, well,
I
there's.
wonder if he got the message that we moved it.
I would think he did, but
Everybody was on text. I thought,
You wanna just call him, just ask him if he can log in.
Right, yeah, he never responded to our text.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
I mean, we have a form, so it's not a
Yeah.
big deal, but this all kind of was thrown together at the last minute.
Those you wanna just,
Must
We'll just go ahead.
210-7182. I believe so. Want me to call him? The worst is he don't answer.
yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Just say,
We don't need. Oh, hi Dan.
Ron, how are you?
I'm okay, how are you?
I have a cold, so I need to slide away from you.
Okay, I thought you sounded a little stuffed
I do.
up.
My wife said you stay away from Ron.
Oh, I love your wife.
They want me to give you running.
Yeah, the fire chief will be gone tonight. They have a fire chiefs meeting.
okay.
And then Mr. Brooks had a vacation plan, so.
Oh.
All right, so we'll call the meeting to order. It's 6:03. Please join me for the pledge of allegiance, followed by a moment. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, now we'll do the roll call.
Paul is not here. Is Marcy?
Here.
Nope.
Here.
Manischek is not here. Stevens.
Here.
Here.
All right, moving on to persons wishing to address the council. Seeing no one is here, we'll move on to ordinances. I'm looking for a motion and a second to waive the first reading and adopt ordinance number 26-05 to amend chapter 6.05 entitled Parking Limitations and eliminate some handicap parking stalls in the parking lot south of 300 block of East Main Street.
I'll make the motion to waive the first reading and adopt ordinance.
Motion by Coons, is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Severs. Any questions, comments, or
May
concerns?
I ask a
Yep.
question? Do you know if this went to DPW and what
Yes.
their
Yeah,
decision
and it
is?
was unanimous.
Okay, thank you.
This is for the the old senior center,
Okay,
just cleaning up that parking lot.
yeah,
So they have multiple stalls there, so it's just getting it back to normal.
thank you.
Overall, what amount of stalls, standard stalls do we gain?
Three, I
I
thought.
think it
Yeah,
was three. Pretty
Cause
sure
there
it
was
three
four
stalls.
back there, so we'll leave one and then three will go
Okay.
back to regular.
But there was also, not related to this, but was some food pantry stalls reserved there too, that those signs were able to be taken down and the food pantry moved as well. So I think there's a total net of about 5 stalls. That's not part of this document, that what we're doing tonight, those.
All right, cool. There is a motion and a second. Any further questions? We'll take a roll call on that.
Coons.
Aye. Milky.
Aye.
Marcy.
Aye.
Stevens.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to ordinance to amend chapter 8 for orderly conduct on rummage sales. I'm looking for a motion to amend chapter 8.15 entitled rummage sales. We can do a first reading and or waive the first reading and go to a second if you'd like.
I'd like this to be the first, in my opinion, at least, because
Okay.
there was a lot of people at the rummage sales and let them be aware of it, hopefully, and That's my-
We do citywide.
There was a weekend after Mother's Day.
Is that before the next meeting?
I think so.
Cause then that would be at least the one, cause they get.
It would be after
They get so many.
the
Yeah.
regular council meeting.
Yeah, the regular council meeting would be that Tuesday before the citywide.
12 is a regular.
This is just,
So in theory, it would happen that Tuesday then.
well, I think we approved this once at the committee of the whole, right?
No.
So
We wanted
there was
some changes.
minor changes that were made. Very minor in terms of sign placement, was tweaked further this week. And then the types of restrictions, so like farm stands were excluded. So,
I think the most significant change was to allow signs to be placed on private property of other persons, providing that permission. And I think the rest of it was clarifying things.
Yeah.
You know, there, for example, there was nothing that said you could put a sign in the road right of way, but now we have a provision in there that says you may not. It's more to clarify things, so you don't get a lot of arguments on those things. But I think the major one was to allow placement of signs on other private property, as long as you have the owner's permission. But then again, you're subject to the same removal requirement. I always get nervous with these ordinances because you try to think through every possible thing that may happen and you know you're looking for something. But I think this in particular, I think it's better if we enact something, but yet somebody may come forward with a reasonable request. They may not. They may have an unreasonable request, but I think we at least need to be open. I'm not objecting to the idea of having a first reading and a second reading to provide notice and opportunity for comment. But I think in this ordinance particularly, even after you enact it, I think you need to be open.
Still.
Somebody may come in and say, hey, here's something that
Have you
we
thought of
haven't
this?
really thought of. And, you know, you try to do your best to think that through, but yeah, it's kind of an impossible thing, at least in my mind it is.
Dan, could I ask you a question? Then, do we have a standalone that you're not supposed to put whatever in the tree border, meaning Christmas tree advertisements or puppies or, you know, those kind of things? Or if we don't, I don't know if I want to exclude just rummage sales. Does that make sense?
No, try it again.
Okay, do we have, when you talked about things in the tree border or right of way?
We're talking in the right of way.
Right,
Well, we are prohibited from impinging on people's First Amendment rights within the right of way. For example, political signs. If we tried to pass an ordinance saying, yeah, you can't put a political sign in the right of way, we'd have a First Amendment problem. But this is a private advertisement for private sale, and it just really doesn't qualify. So here we're saying you can't do it. Now, we have other ordinances that restrict what you can and cannot do in the street right of way, but it usually has to do with plantings and things of that.
But he's talking more
Did I-
like the dogs, you know, where people will post puppies for sale. And they'll stick just like a for sale sign or a yard sign, I meant, a rummage sale sign, and it will just say puppies for sale or,
Christmas trees.
Or yes.
Yeah.
This
you know,
ordinance
whichever.
would not apply because this is normal household goods, so I don't think a puppy would, or a Christmas tree, so, I mean, we could look at doing something like that, to the best of my knowledge, and Jeremy might know better than I would, but to the best of my knowledge, we don't have an ordinance that specifically gives that kind of detail on what you can and cannot put in the right of way. I think it's mainly plantings. Tree
I'd have
plantings.
to double check on that.
Yeah, or do you just exclude anything in the right of way? Period. I mean, because it's technically the city's or the municipality's property. And just like we don't permit some people taping signs on the light poles because it's city property. So I don't have a problem with this in general, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying is, I think we're gonna have that kind of discussion with the loopholes
Yeah,
and the puppies and the Christmas trees and all that stuff that go in the right of way.
this is applying to the rummage sales. The personal property is defined as normal household goods. So my feeling is a lot of the things, you know, you might have some crossover with your farmer's market, but you know, a lot of it is things that I don't think would fit within that definition. So I understand what you're saying now. Thank you for clarifying that. But certainly, you're right, it is not covered in this ordinance. So if we want to do something like that, we would need to add another ordinance provision.
Which would be separate than this.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Not saying that's a bad idea, I'm just saying it's not included here.
So are you making the motion, Pete, for first reading?
I would like to, if anyone wants to follow, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll second. Because it would go through before the citywide urban sale anyway, then, so it's fine. I'll second the motion.
All right, motion by Pete, seconded by Dan. Any more questions or comments? All right, hearing none, we'll take a roll call on that.
Pilkey.
Aye.
Coons.
Aye.
Stevens.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Motion carries, and then you want that then for the May common council meeting? All right, moving on to resolutions. Do I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution 04-14-26-01, authorizing to commit matching funds and certification of match funds secured?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Coons. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Severs. Any questions, comments, or concerns? We'll take a roll call on that.
Stevens.
Aye.
Coons.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
That motion carries unanimously. I'm looking for a motion to approve the low bidder, Coppin and Keenest Company Incorporated, for the alley project on North Mill Street to North Madison Street and North Madison Street to Fond du Lac Street with the base bid of $1,741,299.60.
I'll make that motion to approve.
Motion Coons, is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Severs. Questions, comments, or concerns?
Sorry. Kathy, could I ask you to
Yeah.
elaborate when, at least what we got on our iPads, that you were gonna have a meeting with the department heads? Was there any substantive change or anything that you want to mention from that meeting?
I think the most substantive change has to do with there's temporary water service extension, and the line item for that is right around $70,000. And utilities is electing to remove that because they can provide that service, they can provide that,
So they're gonna self-perform that
so,
scope.
yeah, so that
To
would
save
be
the-
removed.
So they'll tend the temporary services themselves.
So then I take it that utilities is for this final version?
Yes.
So utilities
Yep.
did approve, I believe.
Yes.
on it.
Yeah, and I had dialogue, because I know Steve was gonna be out and ask me to speak on behalf of utilities. Yes, they're, I wouldn't say they're happy about the number, but they're also improving the project and making it happen. Because they realize if it doesn't go now, it's not gonna get cheaper, so. But there's a lot of dialogue. So,
Okay, thank you.
but that was one piece they did pull out of the contract, that they're gonna self-perform, so.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions or concerns? So there is a motion and a second, and we'll take a roll call on that.
Stevens.
Aye.
Coons.
Aye.
Pilkey.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to number 5 under consideration, police department purchase estimate with Sentinel Supply for rifle replacement program. Do I have a motion to approve the estimate with Centennial Supply for the purchase of 2 rifles as listed in your motion?
Yeah, I'll make that one.
Second.
Motion by Seaver, second by Coons. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, we'll take a roll call on that.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Pilkey.
Aye.
Coons.
Aye.
Stevens.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Are those cool guns, Jeremy? You're happy?
They're very cool.
Okay.
And to be honest, they're lighter weight, shorter barrel. So we started getting those, I don't know, like a couple of years ago. So, smaller stature people, a little bit easier to control. So.
Very cool. All right. Moving on to the library director job description. I'm looking for a motion from last night's library board meeting. They approved the job description, and I'm looking for a motion to accept the library board's library director job description.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Severs, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Coons. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. That motion carries. Moving on to license permits, applications, and expenses. Just a reminder that next Tuesday is the organizational meeting of the council at 5:30. Dress nice, we take a picture. And I'm looking for a motion to approve the license and permit applications and to pay the bills.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Severs, is there a second?
Second,
By Coons. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, we'll take a roll call.
Kismarski,
Aye.
Milky,
Aye.
Severs,
Aye.
Coons.
aye.
All right, before we have a motion to go into closed session, I just want to thank everyone for being flexible and making it work tonight. We had the Board of Public Works meeting on Tuesday, and we were intending on having the council meeting. And as that meeting was going on, BJ was texting me of the storm and it was dropping baseball-sized hail. And it just seemed inappropriate to have a meeting with that kind of weather approach. So I appreciate all of you for being flexible. Now I'm looking for a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make that motion.
Motion Pete, seconded Ryan. All in favor, say aye.